My family didn't abandon me. They divested Dot at 17. I wasn't cast out in a fit of anger. I was phased out in a corporate restructuring. My father had fallen under the spell of a business guru, a man who preached a gospel of ruthless efficiency. Our family was no longer a family. It was an enterprise, and I was about to be audited. They sat me down in the living room, my father, my mother, and my older brother, Leo. My father cleared his throat, holding a leather-bound book by the guru. "Reese," he began, his voice devoid of emotion, "we've conducted a family audit, a 360-degree review of our core assets and liabilities, and we've concluded that our investment in you has reached a point of diminishing returns." My mother nodded sadly. "You're a non-performing asset, dear. A drain on resources we need to allocate towards growth sectors, like Leo's college fund." They weren't just leaving me, they were writing me off. My father slid the guru's book across the table. On the title page, he had written a note: "It's time for you to generate your own Roy. You'll figure it out." The next day, they were gone. For 12 years, I was a ghost. I haunted the aisles of the public library, a place that was warm and free. I slept in a storage unit, read history books to forget the gnawing hunger in my stomach, and worked shelving books for minimum wage. A university librarian, Mr. Abernathy, saw me. He didn't see a homeless kid. He saw a voracious mind. He helped me study for entrance exams, find scholarships, and apply to the state university. He believed in me when I had no reason to believe in myself. I didn't just go to college. I consumed it. I devoured history, earned a PhD, and became an adjunct professor, respected but perpetually underfunded. My life was a quiet pursuit of knowledge, a world away from my family's cold calculus of profit and loss. My big break came from a dusty, forgotten corner of a Florentine archive. I discovered a series of letters, a lost manuscript from a minor Renaissance diplomat that completely recontextualized the fall of the Medici Bank. It was a discovery that rocked the academic world, and then the real world. The discovery became an international news story. I wrote a book, The Banker's Shadow, that hit the bestseller list. I sold the movie rights for a staggering sum. Suddenly, Dr. Reese Thorne, the forgotten asset, was a wealthy public intellectual, and my family, somewhere out there, was watching. The news. The email came from Leo. Asterisk Reese. "I saw you on TV. Incredible. We need to talk." Asterisk the story he told was predictable. The guru's investment strategies had been a series of disastrous bets. My father had lost everything. They were living in a trailer park, buried in debt. My mother called next, her voice dripping with the guru's jargon. "Reese, your father's spiritual energy is broken. The bankruptcy has misaligned his chakras. Your success, your positive energy, we need you to reinvest in this family unit." I told her my investment portfolio was close to them. The attack on my life's work began the next week. My father, clinging to the last dregs of his guru-fueled delusion, contacted a tabloid journalist. The headline read, "Historians discover a fraud. Father claims she stole Hifimali's stories." He claimed my entire thesis was based on tales he'd told me as a child. He reframing my years of research as a theft of his intellectual property. He couldn't have my money, so he was trying to steal my achievements. The academic world, for the most part, dismissed it, but the accusation stung. A public stain on my hard-won reputation. I thought that was the worst he could do. I was wrong. A week later, I got a call from the director of the University Museum, where the manuscript was being prepared for exhibition. "Reese," he said, his voice tight with alarm, "there was an attempted break-in last night. Someone tried to smash the case holding your manuscript." I knew instantly who it was. He couldn't discredit my work, so he was trying to physically destroy it. He was arrested later that day, identified from the museum's security footage, a pathetic, clumsy old man trying to take a hammer to a priceless piece of history. That was the final betrayal for my brother. That night, Leo sent me a package. It was our father's old journals, pages and pages filled with the guru's toxic aphorisms, business plans, and detailed notes from the family audit where he'd clinically detailed his plans to divest. From me, "I'm sorry," Leo wrote. "I'm done with his reality. The world should see who he really is." I didn't release the journals. I didn't need to. The news of his arrest and the reason for it was enough. His reputation, the one thing he valued more than his own children, was shattered. The following year, I used the money from the book and the movie rights to establish the Abernathy Grant, a full scholarship for underprivileged students in the humanities. At the inaugural ceremony, I stood at a podium in the university's main lecture hall, a place that once felt like an impossible dream. I talked about how history is not just about dates and facts, but about the quiet, forgotten people who survive against all odds. I talked about how knowledge is the only asset that can never be taken from you. As I spoke, I looked out into the crowd, and there, in the front row, was my brother, Leo, with his wife and their young daughter. He wasn't there asking for anything. He was just there, watching me, his eyes filled with a quiet, hard-earned pride. I finished my speech. The hall erupted in applause, and I smiled. My father was right about one thing. I had figured it out. I had generated my own return on investment, not in dollars, but in a life of purpose, a chosen family, and the quiet, unshakable power of the truth.